What you've done is you've taken an idea that might sound good on the surface and you've explained in some detail why it's bad for renters, why it's bad for owners. It doesn't increase the supply in the market and it ultimately hurts. But what do you do locally to explain that to city council people? How do you organize to fight these things?
That's a really good question. Something obviously both Derek and I can answer because that's exactly what we've been doing. It's a little bit twofold. First of all, it is the work of the associations and experts and lobbyists like myself and Derek to have those conversations with legislators to really help them understand the process of purchasing, especially purchasing of rental income properties. The other half of it, though, and a really impactful part of it, is our members and property owners who can tell their personal stories. And we have found the most impactful stories are the ones from owners who are older, who have had the property in their family for many years, perhaps acquired it under difficult circumstances like redlining through the blocking of traditional loans from the banks in the 60s to certain community members. Those kinds of stories to explain how they have acquired the property and how a really important part about our property owners and our members are they are the ones that offer the most affordable housing in these very expensive California cities. And that we know for a fact that the owners of color typically will rent to other people of color and provide the housing that other owners aren't necessarily providing and at a more affordable rate. To devalue their property through this kind of a policy doesn't really benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit the tenants. It doesn't benefit the owners, and it really doesn't benefit the community. So we tell those stories. We ask people to get involved with our associations, to be willing to stand in front of legislators and elected officials and tell those stories. And we do see that have an impact so that ultimately we can come up with alternative solutions. Because, by the way, tenants have always had the opportunity to purchase the property they live in.
Right. That's the not so secret in all of this, is that there's always been that opportunity. And Krista's 100% correct. It's like our job as association leaders, we educate our members, but we also have to educate the media. We have to educate our municipal leaders and policymakers. And I think that's a big job. But I think through the stories, as Krista said, through the stories that our members have, the legacy of redlining and blockbusting and all of these things really enter into this conversation. And our members are super sensitive around all these things because they're the ones being impacted. So they can tell these stories, historically speaking, and then having or setting up a situation where policymakers can really interrogate these ordinances more. And I think this gets into another part of, I think that's been very effective in terms of our ground game has been, hey, what analysis have you done? What impact studies have you done? So that when you introduce policies like this, that you have some assurance that they're going to do what you intend for them to do. And I think that this has been a critical piece in terms of our positioning and opposition around this thing. And we want our legislators and our municipal leaders to do the work, right? Have staff do this, hire the people that can do the analysis and impact on these communities so that you're better